Welcome back everyone dito sa latest episode ng Deep Dive. Ito, kasama natin ang my former professor who still is very proud of me, I'm sure. Professor Ranjit Rai, and of course also representing Okta, one of the leading survey agencies in the country. One of the things I love discussing with you, Professor Rai, is that we get kind of a sneak peek of things that tayo mga ordinaryong tao, like of course the permutations, that was very good.
Yeah.
I want to talk about charter change also, because in a separate episode we had no less than one of the framers of the Constitution here. Justice Escuna talked about a good version of People's Initiative.
Yeah.
He talked about the ability of people to sue politicians directly. So there were some very interesting ideas. Also the idea of re-election. Bakit walang re-election sa 1987 Constitution? Kasi nga, it's the Marcos shadow. But here we are, 40 years later, maybe we have to think outside the box. And the fact that 1987 Constitution is the least perturbed non-amended constitution in our history.
Yeah.
Walang amendment all of these years,
Yes,
right? So
yeah.
it's quite incredible. Which means...
But interesting yung sinabi mo, na in many presidential systems, there's a second term. It
Yes.
makes it more stable.
Incentivizes you to do well.
Incentives do well. Here in our case, it's 6 years. And malas ang bansa if you get a bad one, no? Kasi unless you're impeached, it's very hard to impeach now. Have you heard that it's hard to impeach a president?
Yeah. Last time I checked, it's even harder now.
It's even harder now. You can get a bad president for 6 years, and that's a.
And malas ka rin if a good president also is only 6 years.
So are you sure that came out of the mouth of Justice Escuna? The idea of how we can amend the charter? Yeah.
No. What I asked Justice Escuna is bakit 6 years?
Yeah.
So you talk about the 3 years thing because ayaw nilang 2 years kasi mahal daw. I also asked bakit walang runoff. Isn't it weird na? Because without runoff, you don't create coalition building culture.
Exactly. There's no incentive to do that.
And you create an incentive for polarizing.
Yes.
Kung sino pinaka-crazy, you'll get just the most votes and that's it, right?
Yeah.
Although you can always say Ramos this and that, but I don't base my judgment on exceptional cases.
Or running as a ticket. Simple adjustments,
Exactly.
Right. Why? So that there's always a working relationship between the president and vice president. Similar to the model we copied in the US, no?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But before all of that, balikan naman natin medyo ito grabe, nag-international global ito. I saw it on South China Morning Post among others. Your survey on China's trust rating or satisfaction rate or lack thereof. Can we talk about that?
Yeah. So, the Okta, had a survey that was conducted in, from July 12 to 17. And this was really about people's trust in China and people's perceptions about the West Philippine Sea. So we had a China probe and, nothing really incredible in the findings. I think it's fairly consistent ever since. No, number one, most Filipinos distrust China, so it's now 85%. So
more than any other country, I suppose, by far.
Yeah, by
like
far.
Russia,
and North Korea are in the top 3, but they're at 4%. So very far away. So there's if the people will be able to see the slide, it's there.
Yeah, we're gonna put it projected. Yeah.
So I think those were some of the the big how should I say this findings, no? And I think a lot of people, I think maybe the timing was also apparent, no? That the time was also good when we released a survey. It just happened, no? The coalition.
Yung incident.
Yeah. So it was it was talked about, no? So distrust in China remains high. That's the first finding. But there are 15% of Filipinos who trust China. This is much higher than our last survey last year, no? Number 2, I think important is China is still viewed as the greatest threat to the Philippines. 74%, a greater threat than Russia and North Korea.
74%.
Yes,
gravest threat.
Yeah. So 85% distrust China. 74% see it as the greatest threat, and 76% of our kababayan support the government's efforts to assert our rights in the West Philippine Sea.
And when you talk about the threats, is it meron kayong non-country based like threat of climate change?
I don't know. This is country based.
So country based.
Again, we're trying to build a database to be able to write research on threat perception, and we're trying to do 1 or 2 more of this so that we have a longitudinal analysis for at least 2 years. So it's been fairly consistent with China. Although I have to say that the perceptions of trust slightly declined from last year's 91%. So there's some ambivalence, no? In areas like Cagayan, in Visayas. So
Areas where China may have made goodwill investments.
it's possible. It's possible. We have still to investigate.
I mean,
but-
Cagayan is, I think, the place where you have an openly pro-China governor, allegedly, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Based on our perceptions of it, yeah. So that was one big survey we came out last week. The impact of which is, I think, was widely seen, no? When it was covered all over the news.
Yep.
I think it was important to have released it, not just because it's information for all of us and for policymakers, but also for our troops, no? Our troops in Ayungin, our troops who are
Exactly.
constantly, under threat and harassment in the West
Besieged,
Philippine
yeah,
Sea,
besieged,
our Coast
really,
Guard,
yeah.
and I think that was, according to one of my friends from the Navy and also from the Coast Guard, it was inspiring at least to know that the people are behind them. And 76% support the government's response in the West Philippine Sea. So it's clear.
So why is it not 100%?
Yeah, I know. Well,
Is there a certain geographical angle here? Is there
it's
a certain
possible. Yeah.
partition
Well,
angle?
there was, no? I
Okay,
think there's
so
some.
what's the breakdown by region?
Yeah. So when you look at trust, when you look at threat, I think the perceptions are more towards ambivalence in areas like the Visayas and up north, specifically in Cagayan. There's some
Interesting.
change. Yeah, it's not
Ambivalence
it's not
meaning
all,
there-
it's not everywhere, but in certain places.
What do you mean by ambivalence? Like they are not sure if
They're not sure if it's a threat or
so
not.
they can
or-
say, I don't know. Like,
Yes.
so may
So
option.
merong option na ganon. Yeah.
Right.
And so I think that led to some decline in
Interesting.
distrust and some decline as far as the threat
So it's not that
perception.
their trust went up, it's just that the
Yes.
distrust kind of went into ambivalence.
Yes,
Okay,
exactly.
So there are levels, okay.
Yeah. So, and then across the board, there's it's fairly, how should I say this? Consistent across the board, whether it's in terms of regions and age, except for these pockets, no, of trust that you find in Visayas and in certain places up north. But in NCR, in Balance Luzon, in Mindanao, it actually went up, distrust.
It
So,
did.
as
How would that make sense? Does it mean because trickle in more yung sense of shared national interest? Kasi medyo malayo yung ibang
possible,
parts
yeah.
ng Mindanao sa Philippine Sea or...
yeah, I think
How much did it go high in Mindanao? That's very important.
Yeah. Well,
That's a very important one.
we're still looking at the data more carefully, but it's in certain places, no. I don't have the regional breakdown at the
Kung
moment.
east versus west
Yes,
parts
yeah.
of
But
Mindanao, yeah.
in certain places, I'm told by my team, in Visayas and most notably in Cagayan, there was some, slight decline in distrust and even in threat perception. So that's the story of our survey on the WPS. I think the more important thing, the takeaway, is that many Filipinos perceive the the issue of the WPS not just as a security threat, because there's a part of the survey that asks, why do you distrust China? So 6 out of 10 would say it's because of the aggressive actions.
Sa West Philippine Sea, yeah.
Yeah. Number 2 on that list is the influx of smuggled goods. So when you ask why you dislike China, why you distrust China, number 1 is China's aggressive acts in the West Philippine Sea. That's 66%. A second issue that they would like to, that's amplifying the survey, is the issue of influx of smuggled goods from China
Right.
that hurt local industries.
Dumping, basically.
Yeah. Number 3, increase in criminal cases involving Chinese nationals. So these are the
Pogos.
top 3 issues that Filipinos perceive who distrust China.
Although, to
perceive
be
by the
fair,
few.
the Chinese government is against Pogos.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
medyo
it's,
nasa
yeah.
stretch yung idea ng
Yeah.
trust towards the
But
country.
criminal activities that are reported in the news, they give that impression.
Yeah.
If some of them may not be Pogo related, but really Chinese gangs harassing individuals, maybe even Chinese nationals here. So again, number 1, why people distrust? 66% are saying it's because of the aggressive acts in the West Philippine Sea. Number 2, influx. Influx of smuggled goods and products
How
that
many
hurt the
percent?
economy. That's 13%.
Right.
Number 3, increase in criminal cases involving Chinese nationals. That's 9%, and almost the same influx of Chinese workers competing for local jobs.
Okay, so
8%.
that means kasi yung mga yan, I kind of see them in a xenophobic way. So at least it's a very small group.
No, we can't say that yet. No, we don't have the data to say that.
We don't know the data, but I'm worried it might have a
yes,
kind of,
it might have.
But
Yeah.
I'm glad it's very small number.
Yeah, it's a small number,
Yeah.
and
Assuming,
I think there's more distrust with the Chinese government
Right.
than with Chinese people.
But
no?
then again,
it should be growing.
66% is not very high considering what's going on, right?
Yes, and this was taken in the first week of July. Things
So
have
hindi-
changed.
hindi
pa kasama yung collision dyan and all of these
Right.
things. No? So taken together, the survey findings highlight a multi-dimensional distrust towards China. Filipinos not only view China as a direct threat to the country's sovereignty and territorial integrity, but also express concerns about the economic activities and the social impact.
Yung mga
of
mangingisda
China-
natin na
Yes.
binubuli, yung malaking resonance yan, Prof?
I think so.
Yeah.
Kasi yun nga, they're part of the survey also. The social impact on local industries and communities, these overlapping external and domestic apprehensions help explain why China registers relatively higher levels of distrust compared to other countries. as
So
far
what
as
about
services.
the greatest president, the United States? Anong numbers ng US sa inyo?
well, in the United States, of
Are
course.
we still
in terms
Trump
of in terms of distrust, it's 1%.
Really?
Yeah.
So kami lang ni Ronald Llamas yan.
Oh, yeah.
May
Actually, no, I'm
distrust
sorry.
sa
It's 2%.
2%.
Kasama kayo.
yan.
Dahil sumama
Dalawa
kayo.
kayo.
Yeah, it's 2%. If you look
So
at it
kami ni
there.
Ronald yan, distrust sa US. Oh my God, 2%. So basically zero, right?
Yeah,
Kasi
may-
may statistical.
May error ka
Kasi may
margin.
mga days na we like US, may days na ayaw namin.
Yeah, but we also tried
2%
to...
lang!
Yeah,
Oh my
2%.
God!
So it's high trust for the United States.
Wow.
And on the opposite
US is
side,
number one?
I would think so, yeah.
Japan? What about Japan, Australia?
Japan would have... No, actually, Japan is even higher. No?
Yeah,
1%.
exactly. Diba mas mataas ang Japan?
Yeah. 1% lang sa Japan. Eh.
Yun ang kilala ko yan sino. Yung 1% na yun.
No, here, look at this. Japan, India. No distrust on India. So,
There's no distrust.
Yeah, India.
But this is after visit of the president to
Yeah.
Kasi visa-free na tayo, di ba? Electronic visa.
No, but this was done July 12 to 17.
so hindi
In
pa
fairness,
sobra.
wala pa, di pa. So, this high trust for India, for Japan, for the United States, and Australia.
South Korea.
Okay, I don't have the data here
You
for
don't
South
have
Korea.
How dare you not put
I-
Halyo?
no, di lang sinama sa table, but I would think that there's a high trust for
Right.
South Korea also. Actually, we have a whole table for all the ASEAN countries. So if
Sino
the
pinaka-
embassies need to find out
okay.
where they are for trust and distrust.
Pero
how-
can you give a teaser? Like, is it Singapore? Is it? Hindi naman.
well, hindi naman. I think generally speaking, Filipinos have high trust for Southeast
More
Asians.
similar, similarly good.
Yeah, similarly. Yeah, Singapore would probably be one of the highest.
Yeah,
Because
obviously.
a lot of our workers are there. So,
Ganda expression, yeah.
trust, distrust, I think that's interesting for the embassies to look at,
Yeah.
how people perceive.
Galing talaga
their
ng
country.
Okta.
So, right now, in my
Laking
table, you can
negosyo
see
yan,
naman
ha?
here. Look at my table. So,
Oh, may Saudi Arabia ka pa.
so we can give this,
Wow.
we can show this later on.
Lalo pag-
But interesting to look at this. This is the why people dislike China.
Right.
And we're coming up with a new probe, just processing it. What Filipinos think.
Pero let's look at the class, ABC. It's interesting.
Yeah.
So, yung ABC ang mas critical talaga dun sa West Philippines
yes,
issue.
very clear.
And
And then
there's a class element
Yeah,
there.
and yeah, there's a class, and then mixed. Look at
Business sector versus
Yeah,
working class.
Yes.
Ang laki nung so yung smuggled parang yung labor sector
Yes,
ang apektado. Okay, I see that.
So
See,
it's
that's
not
important.
just it's not just a security issue.
It's a class
It's
of
a socio-economic issue now.
interesting.
So the distrust has gone beyond the West Philippines, although it's largely because of
Right.
it. But there are other issues. And there's another probe that's a little more constructive. We're still processing it. How Filipinos perceive or think about improving Philippine-China relations.
Correct.
And offhand, Professor David is telling me that a lot of it has to do with socioeconomic intervention. So the Filipinos don't think that the West Philippine Sea is the end-all, be-all of the relationship. They think that in other aspects,
Yeah.
while we disagree vehemently about this issue, that we can agree on certain things like socioeconomic ODA, investments, increasing tourism. So it's coming out in the survey. We're releasing it next week. So
Okay. Looking forward.
We'll give it to you. So that's our West Philippine Sea deck. So second quarter, we're finished with the West Philippine Sea deck. I think our big another big probe we came out with is or submitted to the public was our own assessment of the 2025 elections, which I think is very important. In a democracy,
Let's go
we
through
assess.
that because there's still many people saying dinayan si Lenny in 2022 or mananalo ang ganitong ganyang kandidato kung hindi dadayan sa election. So, by and large, do you Filipinos still trust our electoral system?
Yes, by and large, it seems like, at 85%, that's, I'm sorry, I'll just clarify the data here.
Please,
right?
yeah.
So, 8 out of 10 Filipinos trust, okay, I'll give out I hope that your viewers can see the table.
We will project that,
Yeah. So, 83%, so you can see it here, 8 out of 10 Filipinos trust the accuracy and credibility of the May 2025. That's very, very important. That increasingly Filipinos are trusting,
But I saw the same numbers before with SW.
Yes, with
Pulse
SW
Asia,
in 2022, I think Pulse Asia came out with there. It's about the same.
Yeah, I mean,
So
it's similar. Yeah, it tracks.
Yeah, it tracks. Okay, and second thing that we learned from the survey is that COMELEC, the Commission on Election, and in response to the basic question, we would like to know your opinion on the last May 2025 elections. And their basic argument is, or basic perception is that the COMELEC was able to ensure free, fair, and credible national elections. That's around 64%, about two-thirds.
Right.
And then you look at the disagreement, it's just 4%.
Just 4%.
4%.
So yun yung mga maingay na sabi na dinayan na hocus-pocus yung elections.
Well, there will always be people like that. But again, we're still not where we're supposed to be as far as
of course,
the perception of the COMELEC.
Exactly.
But this is definitely an improvement. Okay. Again, 83% trust the election outcome. So as far as election integrity is concerned, okay, Filipinos trust the outcomes. As far as the COMELEC is concerned, about two-thirds, 64% agree the COMELEC was able to ensure free, fair, and credible elections. But you have to understand, 33% were undecided. And a large portion of that 33% were from ages 18 to 34. The Gen Zs and the millennials.
Right.
So, but ambivalence is, it's not something you should, just take aside or minimize, because ambivalence becomes distrust.
Got us to that, right? There's a whole book on Philippines' democratic ambivalence,
yes,
right?
And the whole idea that they're ambivalent could be possibly they're misinformed, they lack information, they need voter education. And if there's no intervention or reach out to these people, many of them are from the 18 to 34 range, which means the bulk of our own voters. This can turn to distrust later on.
Exactly. Could be weaponized.
And this could undermine our democracy in general. Yes. Oh.
No, that's my gift to you. It's my gift to you.
I wrote it by mistake.
No, that's yours. That's yours, Justice. That's yours. That's yours.
A gift.
That's your gift.
It's a gift, yeah.
It's mine. But
Yes.
It's here. The book I gave you is here.
Oh, yeah. No. But I think this is the version I had. Okay, sorry. Yeah. I put it there because I had these questions at you. Yes. Thank you so much. Of course.
Sir, I'll send you the survey via Viber.
Yes, sorry.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank
Thank you, Justice.
Yeah, because I had his book. I had questions kanina. I asked him from his
I
book.
see.
I left it pala sa loob. Thank you so much, Justice. Kaya pala hindi ko nahanap.
Okay yung show mo. Talagang ano lang.
No, this is Joe Rogan. I mean, suddenly baka sinasarahan kami. This is what I love. No, but going back to this, so there's still confidence in the democratic system as far as election is concerned. Nevertheless, just to tie the two things together, many would say the probability of a Duterte return is increasing by the day with every ping pong stuff we've seen.
Why are you so certain about it? That's not your impression. That's the impression of many.
But I don't know. I've seen double R numerous numbers. Like,
and it's depressing.
Yeah, it's like, parang, like it's really a tall order. But,
but do you believe that these things can change?
I always believe in change, but there's probability and possibility, right?
Yeah.
I operate based on probability rather than... of course, anything is possible.
Yeah.
But my point is, you don't make political calculations based on possibility. You make it based on probability.
Yeah.
So there are many people, not me, not you obviously.
Yeah.
Tayo mga ano tayo, objective people tayo. Maybe I don't meet Senator
Sino,
a
why you
certain
like-
senator's standard of what is a political analyst, but as
Yeah.
a public intellectual, my understanding is
There you go again.
there you go, intellectual.
Are you sure it was him?
Of course he was.
Are you
Gusto
sure?
mo, tawagin ba natin? No. Anyway, going back to this.
I can't believe he hit on you. I mean, on that, no?
Okay,
That's a wrong term. I mean,
Yeah.
But I mean, that he would criticize you for being
Maybe he's
expressing your position.
Maybe he's a secret fan. We never know. But he used exactly what Malutikia was using against me, diba? So
Which is?
yung distinction between analyst and it was like almost.
Honest and propagandist.
It was
So,
exactly the same thing Malu said. Like that is. And then yung sabi niya.
Can't you just say you're an advocate for a certain...
No, at saka sabi niya. So yung sinabi niya, alam ko lecturer yan, ganun. Hindi na si Ronald yan, di ba? So, hindi ko na paano tawagin to, podcaster, lecturer.
Ang pili ko all this time si Ronald.
Hindi. Nung sinabi niya lecturer, ganun, hindi
And
ko tawagin.
if it's Ronald,
No,
okay
it's
lang.
not Ronald. It's not that Ronald. Kaya nga, disappointed si Ronald eh. Ako yung na-contempt petition, ako yung tinawag. Hindi
Oo
pa,
nga, hindi
that's
man
why
siya, no?
Ronald is bitter. Like, why is this guy? I'm the heckler.
Getting all the attention.
Right. I'm the heckler. This feeling James Bond boy is getting all of this hit.
Actually,
Yeah.
come to think about it, I'm sure there must be something wrong in what Ronald has said over the last 6 months.
He's
that,
not doing well enough. He's not being heckler
That's
enough.
contemptible. Alam mo yun?
Absolutely. Like, I recommend petitions against him. But nahuli ka ng mami ko, binibully mo ito. Sabi ko, nahawa siya kay Ronald.
Wala naman, you're going to with the, hey, by the way, I read how do you say, the response?
Oh yeah, and then they had to respond because we found questionable
No,
jurisprudence.
first, let me express my congratulations. I thought it was a very good response. But then you found some anomalies pala in the complaint.
And they had to say sorry to the Supreme Court profuse.
So they apologized?
Yeah, and
I didn't even know
They
that.
submitted an amended one and there's like the apology in there. Like it's embarrassing. Like sobrang.
There goes their,
Nakakaya.
there goes their complaint, no? Their frivolous
Well,
complaint.
there goes the frivolousness of their own.
But you mean to tell me that they utilized data or facts that were not
Mali-mali yung GR
surrounded,
number,
supported?
mali-mali. Hindi,
Isn't
kaya nga
that
the
an
joke
ethical
ko-
issue?
May nag-joke na, kaya nga dapat silang makontempt. Yung sabi namin, bakit hindi sila makontempt? You don't submit to Supreme Court.
Yes.
Mambo jumbo, that's
That's
disrespect.
Yeah, that's disrespect
This is
of the
bakit,
highest
kaya
level.
tuloy sila ngayon ng ano, di ba? Yan ang problem.
So explain mo naman sa public, hindi naman, ako nga, hindi ko alam na.
No, I'm gonna ask my lawyer, Dino.
Oh,
De Leon,
yeah,
to do
okay.
that. But no,
The
it's
lawyer
out-
of the day.
But
Oh.
everything's out there. You can download it on the Supreme Court. And doon yung amended.
Nobody really does that. So this is the opportunity to explain. The people who complained against you in some submitted a complaint that was imperfect, not just imperfect, but was,
Huge.
what's the term you use? They used facts.
Ito, we have.
What's the term
it's
you
in my
use?
column on Philippine Daily Inquirer this week.
Okay.
I quoted.
You're
all
really
the-
gonna milk this dry for what
No, I have not. Swerte nga sila eh. I'm busy eh. Babalikan ko sila on this. But
doesn't that isn't that contemptible?
ito, after my legal team detected major anomalies in the frivolous indirect contempt petition filed by these charlatans, the hapless
Weeks.
empresarios.
There you go again.
Well, I have the right.
Yeah.
But anyway, they submitted an amended version which deeply apologizes to the Supreme Court and recognizes with humility their manifold lapses.
Wow, these are
The
lapses.
petitioners admitted the need to, quote, correct certain jurisprudential citations inadvertently and mistakenly relied upon
Oh
in
my
the original
God.
petition. As a result, they were forced to sincerely apologize to the country's citizens.
Should the Supreme Court even consider
Yun nga
a
eh.
complaint
Yeah.
whose jurisprudence
So actually, I
is-
help also Percy's case kasi sabay kami ni Percy doon, di ba? So I help Percy.
Oh, okay,
Hindi ko alam
good.
kay Armageddon.
Good for both of you.
Hindi ko alam kay Armageddon, kay Topasian. But no, like that was funny. Like they threw a swing. Next thing we know, like wait, parang illegal yata yung ginawa. Parang may
but
mali.
that's di ba? Tama, in a sense, that's illegal, di ba? I mean, they can
No,
be
kaya nga,
disbarred for that.
We show cause order them back. We counterpunch
okay.
them. Yeah, counterpunch them. So anyway, hindi ko pa na-juice yan. So we're gonna find the right time for that.
Congratulations on that.
Yeah,
ah.
no, congratulations to the
Who's your
whole
lawyer?
team.
Who's your lawyer nga pala?
No, Of course, the Dargon Law of sila Dino are representing me.
Okay.
But
Magaling palang
but to be
advocate si
honest,
Dino,
it was really a collective effort. We had the finest mind in the country.
Talaga?
debating. But let's keep it,
Coaching you.
let's be anonymous. No, but of course, the core
No,
effort
but the
was...
thing is that the most important contribution is the statement, your response. That's
Yeah.
going to be on the record.
Oh, yeah, and it's part of history.
And it's a champion. I think it champions freedom of speech. And for all those public intellectuals and citizens who want to take
Thank you
part
for
in
using
this
the term, intellectual.
Oh, yeah.
Very France Fanon.
Of course,
Fanon.
some person disagrees with that.
They don't matter. Those who don't agree, I don't matter. So I don't care. Now let's go back to this
We were talking about charter change.
shorter change. Why? Because connected lahat ng sinabi natin kanina, di ba? There are many people are saying, okay, great that people still trust in our electoral institutions, but a lot of people are losing confidence in our institutions because of the corruption scandals, which are even
Yes.
worse than PDAF.
Yeah.
And then looking at West Philippines, okay, good to know that medyo, namulat marami sa ating kababayan, but nevertheless, there's a very high possibility that the next president of the Philippines may not be Duterte level pro-China, but nevertheless, a significant departure from what it is. In light of that, and this is what's funny.
Wait. That seems unclear to me. It's only Duterte, di ba? She's number one in the surveys.
Yeah,
Tama ba?
and what...
Who Duterte like? Who's that person? Who is that other person? I don't know.
well, if Bongo is in top 5, then I'm
Yeah, but
wondering
aren't
if...
they of the same proclivity or inclination?
in fairness naman kay Sara,
Their
di ba?
foreign policy is the same?
Di ba Sara, nag-IVLP program siya sa State Department, she has visited the US, she's much more internationalized.
So when you go to the IVLP, that means you're pro-US na?
That means at least you're not Duterte level of US hater. Remember, Duterte didn't even go to the US. He hated to go to the West. and all
Okay.
that, right? So you could say, or at least ito yung sinasabi ng mga tao sa DC, like, maybe Sara we can deal with. Alam mo yung worry ng mga taga-US? Si Amy. They're more worried. Yeah! They're more worried about Amy than Sara.
I have less worry about Amy because contrary to everybody's basic perception that she's insane, actually I think she's the sanest Marcos there is. I mean, even more intelligent than the president. I think my view. The president is intelligent, but she's
But also another...
very engaged and articulate and able to grasp a broad set of arguments and factors in ways and synthesize them. I think people I think underestimate her.
No one underestimates her. That's why they're saying she's a bigger threat.
Really?
Yeah.
I disagree with that. Honestly, in fact, it's her addition to that tandem, at least on the surveys, that makes the tandem a little more palatable, a little more predictable,
Yeah,
a little
she
bit more
does.
calculable.
Absolutely.
Because the perception, at least from people I talk to, is
You
that,
mean she's the method to the madness? Is that what you're saying?
Okay, now you're putting words in my mouth. Yeah, but some people are saying it that way. The madness is there, but there's a rhyme and reason is on the vice president. Di ba? So
Jekyll and Hyde.
God, this conversation is going nowhere. No? But the thing is, that's what the perception is. At least for people I know, na it's Amy who's gonna bring rhyme, reason. She's going
Which
to be
China would
engaged.
love. I think it's a rhyme that China would love. And
Really? I mean, I think she straddles both sides.
I don't know. You seem very impressed by her. I mean, go ahead, be part of her fans club. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
All of those
I never
kids
question
were
her
born in
intelligence.
the fans club yan. Marami
I
may fans
never
club
question
yan.
her intelligence, and I always
Yeah.
felt she's the most formidable.
Yeah, I think
among
so.
the children. And even Marcus
And in their
Senior
surveys,
said,
without breaking my
confidentiality. Yeah, of course.
It's their tandem, Sarah and Amy, that's leading. Now, if you partner Sarah with some other person,
It's not as
it's
strong.
not as strong. In
Because
fact,
she brings solid north.
I think so, yeah. Well, I think that's what's coming out in the surveys. Very clear pa rin yung solid north support.
Interesting.
Yeah. So note for those listening, it's President Sara, Vice President Amy Mark, and that's the solid tandem. The only other tandem that comes close is really Tulfo and Risa, and it's quite close. They're still ahead.
Competitive.
Duterte Marcos is still ahead, but not by much. No, certainly not double digits. It becomes wider when you have different permutations. No? Like say Tulfo, Speaker Romualdez, it's a little wider but still competitive.
Is this a one-on-one permutation?
Yeah, the tandems, no?
So wala
Of
nang
course,
ibang third group
oh,
na
walang
Lenny,
third group.
Bam,
But, you know,
ganun.
of course, you know, all of these things will change and all of these things speculation. And in the Philippine setting, you have 1, 2, 3 more tandems always during elections.
exactly.
So, my sense is the Duterte Marcos tandem is going to be again, no? Parang ano, is if there's a new iteration of it,
Right.
it's going to be very competitive. They have bailiwicks, established bailiwicks.
Yeah.
Now, is that an inevitable thing? Some people think it is.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying, biglang bukas sa charter change yung iba.
Yun nga, parang yun ang
Naging
I'm
desperate?
hearing
Or I don't
all of
know,
these,
like-
these talk about charter
Yeah, pero
change.
kasi nasabay din tong corruption scandals.
Yeah.
I think it's not just like, oh, Sara is coming. It's like, forget about the incoming train at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
Like, the tunnel is collapsing. Parang
Yeah.
ganun yung idea na ngayon. Like, look at
And the charter change might be the solution
like
moving
the way
forward.
Vico Soto talks about yung grabing kadiring corruption. Pati nga Jingoy, nandidiri na siya sa corruption. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's getting so... It brings back yung feeling back in 2012, 2013, yung kay Napoles.
Yeah.
Except this is 100 times more.
Which is why I think the suggestion of former Justice Asguna makes a lot of sense, diba? For a commission, for a summit to
Yeah.
be established now. But,
And
but,
the
you know,
ombudsman can also do a lot. And the ombudsman, if they come, he or she comes in and really comes gun blazing.
Yeah.
But speaking of charter change, a people's initiative is still an option. A resolution passed by the Congress. If plurality, majority vote for it in the people, then the Congress can act upon it. But of course, ang preference natin is constitutional convention rather than
Yeah.
on us, because you want people to have a say. And ordinary people like us
Okay,
being
sorry.
able to be represented in that convention. Yeah.
Okay. Yusek Malaya is calling me. So anyway, sorry for that. Okay, but yeah.
want
Maybe we should join. Let him
You
join
want
the
me to message him? Don't. Nasa gitna. You want 5 minutes? We're almost done.
Yeah.
No, baka you'll say that we're on the record.
Yeah. Oh, tama na. Okay. What we understand, no,
Yeah.
from the data is this:
Charter
Sara's
change.
win is not inevitable. There is actually a very credible opposition against her, and if that opposition unites, they're not certain of anything. Is there an option aside from Sara? Bongo is a very, very competitive option.
Right.
Yeah, he gets votes everywhere,
Right.
and it's been proven, and even in our surveys. Who are the important, characters now in the emerging opposition? Rafi Tulfo is the number one, at least in our survey. Lenny is number two. Risa would become, but Risa's far away as president.
Bam is even higher than Risa in the WR.
Yeah. I would suspect also in ours also. I have to just recheck, no? Maybe we stop talking about this all the time. Maybe I should just release it, no? Okay, I'll just ask the...
Yeah, if
the
you can, please.
just
Kasi
to
parang na
clarify.
tayo nagka-thirst trap tayo eh.
Yeah, I know.
But you don't give it. Like, you
yeah.
can say, we have it, but maybe not. You know,
Yeah.
like-
As far as charter change is concerned, we're also tracking it. There's about 40% support for charter change. It's up from low numbers last year. If it's economic provisions and it's clear, it's close to 50%.
Right.
So people are open to charter change for very specific
Okay,
purpose.
so if it's economy, it sounds less Trojan horse.
Yes.
It sounds more technical, like foreign
And the
investment,
gap,
blah, blah.
the gap is
Okay.
not so much, no? But if it's term extension,
Ayun na
then
tayo.
wala.
It sounds dictatorship.
Yeah.
And I don't think Ferdinand Marcos want to do that.
Yeah.
But an idea of Ferdinand Marcos can run again and lose again, people might be more open to that.
How do you know that? You know, that came out in the survey, actually. I'll share with you a survey. Siguro, by this time, I can share. It's with 2 years old. I'll show you a survey in 2023 which we had now. If you ask our kababayans about
Right.
extending terms, they're against it. But the idea of running a
term,
second
yeah.
term, similar to the United States.
Re-election, yeah.
Re-election.
Similar to what we had back in the day. Yeah.
It's not 50-50, but it's closer. Yeah, I'll give the data to you, and you can show it.
Yeah.
This is a 2023.
But I won't be surprised. Kasi
It's
parang-
more acceptable.
Yeah, because I think the idea is that one term is not enough for a good president.
Either
for
way,
a good
this
president.
is charter change. We'll have to go to charter change, but these are some of one of the nuances of our probe on charter change some time ago. But by and large, changing the constitution is not very popular. Okay, but it's popular only on two levels. One is
Or openness. There's an openness.
there's
Yeah,
an
yeah, yeah,
openness actually for charter change for economic provisions, and a charter change for providing an opportunity for the president to run for a second term. That's it. That's all. But it's still not yet a majority, a majority view. But it's still, there's a strong openness, no, a real openness, and there's still a significant support for it. So only on those two issues. Term extension, well, it's not popular. Filipinos want elections, and they want to elect their leaders. Now, if it comes out in any initiative that the president can run again, and whether he'll win or is a different
he has
question.
to earn it. It's not like giving on a platter.
And given the fact that this was done some time ago, maybe things have changed. There's no certainty he's going to win against.
But you can have a question with Marcos and without Marcos. Baka,
Yeah.
in principle, they're okay to another president.
In principle,
Yeah.
they're okay with the idea of running the president, not President Marcos, the president running again.
Well, I mean-
and it's higher if you add Bongbong Marcos.
Yeah, but my point is, okay, sabihin natin, because unpopular si Marcos ngayon compared noon, then you're even less threatened, right? Like,
Yeah.
matatalo rin siya. So what? Let him run. Yung mga ganun. Like,
Yeah.
parang I don't see necessarily just because it's less popular, people are less open to re-election.
Yeah,
Like, then
it's
he'll lose.
possible, yeah.
Ako naman, re-election is good in a sense that, first of all, it gives like infrastructure projects, right?
Yeah.
A lot of them, nagsimula kay Pinoy, ngayon palang matapos.
From a standpoint of institutional design, I think it makes the presidential system a little more stable than how it is now. Imagine since we moved from into the 87 Constitution, we've been having this discussion of charter change.
Over and over again, yeah.
Why don't we just give the president a chance to run again, and then he will prove, his very best in his first term.
Yeah.
And that way, we can be assured of the best effort and accountability at the same time, because if he doesn't do well, he can be booted out.
Exactly. You incentivize
Yeah,
competitiveness.
it's an incentive system that we're putting
I
in.
still also don't understand wala tayong runoff election. It's just so crazy because runoff elections force coalition politics.
Yes,
because you need more
majorities
than
to be
50
established,
Exactly.
yeah.
So you cannot run this crazy polarized far left, far right one because you need to get the ones in the
I
center.
do. You need charter change for that. So
Yeah,
So
Ang dami.
institutional design is the key question. How the object is not to ensure that the president will win another term. No, the object is to strengthen our presidential system, to ensure that democracy is broadened and deepened, and that we provide incentives for good government. No? These are just some of the issues. I think a lot of, look at impeachment now. It's become a little more complicated, a little harder now to do. I'm not saying that what the Supreme Court has done is without basis and is irrational, but it's not. It's a lot harder now to do. A clarification on that with a new, a revised charter would, and then even the amendment process. There's so many things that need to be changed and clarified. Yeah, maybe it's time, no? But I don't know, based on our data, that there's a strong support. But is it a significant support in the sense that is it a large majority? A significant minority? Yes, around 40%.
Which and there's
Yeah,
some
and it's closer to
elasticity.
50% when you talk about simply economic charter change.
Right.
So that's what the data is showing. If my subscribers, our subscribers, will agree, we can release some of the data.
No, definitely. Again, you have written stuff. I've written extensively on this issue. I tend to be very skeptical of this whole thing.
Yeah.
For not only the Trojan horse argument, there's a menu cost issue.
Yes.
And if you talk to top investors, as
We're
I
not advocating. Let's be clear to the people. No, this is what we're hearing all around. No.
And I'm explaining why people are more
Yes,
open.
yes.
No, but I'll be transparent. I'm open to the debate now.
Are you
Let's
open
let's have a discussion.
Yeah.
I'm not advocating. I'm just saying.
What are the advantages and disadvantages of doing
Exactly.
such
Let's do the
significant-
pros and cons. And let's pros and
Are you
cons.
sure you're just not scared of a train coming in? Hindi naman yan.
No, I think it's the tunnel falling apart. No, which
Okay.
is the last question
Yeah,
I want to
yeah,
ask you, which
yeah.
is, look at the, ako kasi ganito yung galit na nakikita ko sa Gen Z ngayon, mas grabe pa sa galit namin nung panahon ni Napoles. Remember yung 1 million March 2012, 2013?
Yeah.
Ito, grabe online. Kasi I see all of these Gen Z influencers
Yeah.
posting the picture of the mga anak ng contractor. Tapos million
The
pesos
president
yung...
has opened a can of worms, and maybe
Yeah.
it's something good.
And this will-
This cleansing is okay. Although
But
some
this
of
could
my
explode too.
yeah, that's what the other people are saying on the other side, no? This is creating chaos that might break up the coalition, that the small coalition that already exists,
Or weaponized by the enemies of
yes,
the
yes,
state
exactly,
and worse.
yeah. Because in the end, the buck stops with the president. Eh. I mean, look at what happened. He kicked out Torre, but Secretary Bonoan is still there. No, I mean,
Yeah.
if you think about it, the optics of it, di ba?
It looks bad.
It looks
It
bad.
looks bad.
Yeah.
Yung star mo ang pinanggal mo.
Oo,
Yung
the most popular guy that provided legitimacy
Yeah.
and this sense of excitement about the administration and the revamp, di ba? It came after the
Yeah,
revamp.
exactly.
And
Siya
now
yung
it's
one
out.
of the few like real revamp, right?
Yeah.
And then
So-
you kept the least popular, most controversial one, which
But
is...
what's your suggestion kay General Torre? I mean, he's on leave now. Ako, feeling ko they should, executive order lang naman, parang revive that's a version of the PAOK TF, pero focusing on economic saboteurs, no? And
Ang alam ko,
corruption.
Flood control czar, something like that. Ang
Ha?
interest
Bakit
sa-
naman flood control? Napaka-specific.
No. It could start with flood control, but basically anti-corruption czar,
Yes.
looking at the most controversial issues. So parallel to the ombudsman.
Yeah, I think that would save the day for the president.
And save the day for him.
Not for him, actually. He's gonna get, I don't know
Kalaban
if
niya, marami siyang babanggayin.
marami siyang babagayin, and I
Sanay
don't know
naman
if he truly, as a officer and a gentleman, he really wants this post. But definitely, it will save face for the president.
No, but my point is, okay, what's the alternative for Torre? If he digs his heel, stand-off yan.
Yeah,
Kasi hindi makaakyat yung interim ngayon.
Yeah.
There's only one 4-star.
Yeah, but what the NAPOLCOM is saying is that 3-star, 4-star, he's the interim head. He can manage. But
It
for
looks
us,
weird.
no,
Yeah, it
who are
looks
seeing
weird, yeah.
who are looking at from the optics side, no, it's actually going to save. What my argument is, not saving face for Torre, because Torre is already established as somebody who's popular. The surveys are showing
He's senatoriable.
Yes,
clearly.
senatoriable,
Yeah.
and the respect for him has not waned. Okay, it's to save the face of the president who hired him and fired him because of politics, diba?
But Prof. Ranji, if he's out of government,
He becomes politically irrelevant. That's the
no,
argument.
vulnerable even.
Physically, you think?
I mean, the Dutertes will go after
No,
him.
that will be too much.
And
yeah.
then, no, there's some in the admin suggesting they might file even administrative cases. Niraise yung Sabongero issue nung isa sa... So, I'm just saying, this could get ugly and I hope there'll be an off-ramp.
Yeah, I
Because-
think the off-ramp, but my argument is the off-ramp will help the president more than Torre. That's all.
Yeah, the president needs it. This is bad for the president.
But this actually was bad for
But
the president.
I think he also was blindsided.
Yeah.
Because like, wait lang, ang dami kong inasikaso
Oo
dito.
nga, yeah.
So, just for a suggestion, Prof. Ranjit, because you are really the scholar of Philippine politics, what is the best way forward for President BBM on this? Heads should roll? What kind of heads should roll without bringing down the whole house? Kumbaga?
Yeah, but if you look long term or even medium term, even short term, the whole, you have to bring a big chunk of the house down, diba?
Yeah.
Yeah. But what has to be the focus of the president is focus on performance and rebuilding institutions.
But why
Strengthening.
shouldn't but wait, sorry, but why house only? You have senators being accused of getting money from
I'm talking
contractors.
you
mean the whole legislature?
No, I mean, just symbolically,
Aha.
you're going to tear apart the political class, no? If you
And your
push this
coalition.
forward
Your
and the
coalition,
coalitions. It's inevitable. He opened the can of worms. This is something that he has to deal with. Now, close to the end of his term, country is divided on this issue. I think the movement forward is really to encourage the ombudsman, the judicial sector, no, or institutions to do its job. Number two is to strengthen accountability and transparency institutions. We have the laws, no, but building using technology, social media, building these networks, no, of what you call this. Transparency built around people's organizations and watching.
Right.
Like, for example, this infrastructure, people's initiative to monitor infrastructure
Right.
projects, institutionalize that.
And get involved, business sector,
Yeah.
who also are affected by this corruption.
And then
scams.
in UP, we have the Resilience Institute. They have technology to monitor.
Yeah.
Use that to monitor projects.
Correct.
Diba? Real time. Is this being built? No. Number three, the president really has to talk to Congress. His cousin, their coalition, and say, we have to find a way, no, to take greed out of this allocation of resources. Maybe even forgo, if it's not part of the NEP, forgo flood control projects, rethink infrastructure projects, veto if necessary. He has the line item veto. If he means what he says and says what he means about corruption, he can use his power of veto and just veto all of these insertions on
And claim
infrastructure.
moral victory.
And then utilize whatever is saved for things that are planned, no? And then reiterate to the country what his next 2 years is going to look like. What's the blueprint for infrastructure, for social development? Talk about I'm sure he's going to have a bump up in his survey numbers because he's out. He's finally out. Checking why this project is not done. I think that's good that the president, no, is looking more like Vince Dizon now, no. So, yeah, and I think people are appreciating that, no.
Well, there's still Vince Dizon, the other also quite popular guy inside the administration. We hope to have him also on our podcast and different shows and our interesting dynamic guy. Of course, in some ways
And
also.
then why don't you interview General Torre? He's on leave naman. He's not
My worry is that it might go in a direction that puts him in more trouble. Sometimes, the best of friends, like, let's keep away for a while. Baka naman magana tayo dyan. On that note, thank you so much, Professor Ranjit Rai, and from Okta Research, obviously, for this very comprehensive discussion. Catch us again sa mga susunod na episode. Sana naman, hindi lang puro mga thirst trap. Medyo may mga more data na bibigay sa atin about the upcoming election. Salamat again.
Thank you.
God bless. Thank you very much.